No beep beep beep? Ah, here we go. If people keep seeing you here, they're going to start asking questions. Leave the investigation to me. All you have to do is stay quiet until the trial is over. Yeah, so says the prosecution. How about you bite me? While heading upstairs, I spot the... Oh, never mind. She's not talking to me. While heading upstairs, I spot the prosecutor having a conversation with someone. Is it Ruby? They seem to be in some kind of argument. Or... Oh! It's Shitface! Okay. Well, I mean, he was going to have to be introduced at some point. Is this guy also a prosecutor? Is he a noble and not a prosecutor? I mean, if he did mage stuff, that would make sense. Watch this be your father or something. Enough! I will do as I see fit. I'm Cocorico. You may be a steel wind, but this is my land. Oh, sorry. No, you're that defense attorney from the trial. I am? I'm sorry, but who? Oh, how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. Danganronpa intro, bitch! As the ruling noble, I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial. As misguided as it may be, snicker snicker. I suppose that you also think my client is guilty? It doesn't matter what I think. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for the nobility, and the nobility alone is a symbol of the aristocracy and our divine right to rule. And now that bastard child has tainted that symbol to the public eye. All of that has nothing to do with her. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all this. Even if she is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. I mean, it's extremely corrupt, but we don't want to hear about it. So you're saying that she should be found guilty even if she's innocent? What do you suppose will happen if she's acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite a myriad of evidence. That alone will be enough to cause public outrage. Tensions between the aristocracy and the common folk are high enough as is. What is one insignificant girl when compared to the stability of our great kingdom totally not corrupted? That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. I can't refute what he said, but I don't agree with it. What? The system should be based on truth and justice, not on public opinion. And why are you working against my client? You honestly think she's the kind of person that would kill her father? It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. Meanwhile, the murderer just left. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight according to mine. You really are Edgeworth. But with boobs. It's hard to get a read on that woman. No, she's Edgeworth with boobs. I just did it. Alright, what exactly is going to go on here besides the scene we just witnessed? There are some candles lighting up the hallway. They look like they used to be a part of the old architecture. That's nice. Several doors lead to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that me and Miss Tamora used, they don't look like they've been open for quite some time. That's all I get. And the doorway back. There's a door at the end of the hallway. Looks like it's seen some use recently. I try opening the door, but it seems to be locked. Perhaps someone might have a key to open it. Well, we know what to ask Celeste about. Not sure why it's going to matter, but okay. I'm going to go back to the tavern briefly. Hey, is anything triggered here? You want to talk about anything new? Do I have anything to give you? I haven't presented these things yet. Also, I should review them. Shattered remains. Holding it. Label says lotus juice. I wonder what that's going to matter about. I wonder if lotus juice is a thing that they were arguing about. Okoyen is outfitted with lamps. Arcane power cell's been broken. Lights were not operational. Hey you, what do you think about this? Don't know shit. Alright. What about this? Don't know shit about that either. Alright. I guess we're good? Yeah, okay. Oh! Okay, Mage Blade. We got that. Must be no larger than a 5-foot cube, which is why the map is 5x5 legend. You! Transmutation Arcane Art. Well, god damn. Evocation, whatever, none. You guys are not new, but you... Oh, look! Transmutation magic. You both know transmutation magic. Man, isn't that weird? Isn't that strange? Huh. Hey, what if I present you? I can actually do this. I forgot about that. What do you think about this? Don't know shit about that either. All right, fine. We could come back and present things, but we'll do that after. I can't imagine the courtroom is going to be useful for much, so let's head over here. I return to the cell that Celeste is being kept in. All the bads. What did I expect? The ambient despair in the air fills your mind like a horrendous stench. I do my best to ignore the emotions of the other prisoners, but I haven't had much practice blocking out this many people. Again, you're just Athena. As I arrive, I see Celeste huddled down in a corner. As soon as she sees me, her dour mood seems to lift, if only for a moment. Show me a happy emote. Oh, hi, Mr. Cuthbert. You don't need to address me so formally. Just call me Tyrion. Okay. Anyway, I came here to ask you some questions about the case. Give me the key to the door. Right. The trial, Flintheart, back. Present. I can present things. Alright, let's just ask the Actually, what could this show me? There's only one locked door that leads into the cell. It seems to be locked by some kind of magical mechanism. Lead torches are hanging on the wall. It's a little irresponsible to put a potentially harmful item in here with prisoners, but perhaps the Inquisition doesn't care about that. The cell has a barred window. Even if a prisoner somehow broke through the bars, there's a 3-story drop to freedom. Alright, not sure what I was expecting. The trial. Sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost us the trial. No, there's no need to apologize. You did great! But it was only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed me down, who knows what would have happened. But I still don't understand, though. Why were there traces of magic on my dad's body? Right. Those traces of magic were on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. They only linger around for about 48 hours, and that gives you a rough timeline of when and where a spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day? I did. I usually cast it when I train in the morning. That explains why there was a trace on the sword, at least. Did the trace on my sword leave the magical trace on my dad's body? No, magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when physical contact is made. Really? What does that mean then? Well, whatever killed your father had a transmutation spell active on it at the time. The magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence. I can't believe this. Boy, it's just sheer luck that you cast it on your blade that day, eh? I don't know what this dude was thinking by being like, let me just do things that leave traces and hope for the best, because fuck it, I'm a noble. Can you tell me more about your father? You're sad and you're surprised and upset. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I know this must be difficult after everything that's happened. No, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I saw your emoticons. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Were you two close? We were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and my mom. Yeah, again, we're going to find out who your parents are, and it's going to be an important plot point. I just know it. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all his heart until... Yeah, until the thing. Until what? Until the murder, idiot. Does this have something to do with the argument that they had? Ah, yes, we should probably discuss that. The argument. I'm sorry to say this, but I could hear your argument from my room that night. Could you tell me about what happened? For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated mages. I'm not sure why, but if you even mentioned magic around him, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from my family. Oh. But why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, you could have gone your whole life without using it. Ever since our tavern closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary and use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in the nobility, so people will pay a lot for a sellsword who can use his magic. Sellsword, that's a word I haven't heard in a long-ass time. So that's why she's a mercenary. Celeste's occupation has been added to my notes. I really kind of knew that, but alright. But I know now, learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On that night, my dad found my spell compendium. When he confronted me about it, I finally came clean to him. That's when he flew into another one of his rages. He shouted at me, he told me that I betrayed him and his family. I'm so sorry, I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved every bit of it. I knew how much he hated magic, but I learned to use it anyways. He showed me so much love and I just threw it all away. Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me. And he died hating me. Aww. Poor you. You feel a sharp... Oh, I feel a sharp pain in my chest as I see that thought. Well, yep. Oh yeah, locked door. About this. So there's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but I just wanted to investigate it to make sure. A locked room at the end of the hallway? I think that's my room. You know how I could get in there? Why do you want to get in my room? It's the only room in the tavern I haven't investigated. Yeah, why is this relevant to the murder exactly? I feel a suspicious gaze from Celeste. Yeah, no kidding. What's that look for? I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything weird. Sorry, you're right. Here, you can use this key to get inside. Bedroom key has been added to my notes. I should really be adding it to my inventory. Alright, I have many things. Learned magic, sure she could pay. Well, I gotta present this to everybody. Can you tell me more about this? No. How about this? Let's talk about your dead dad. I probably shouldn't show this to her. She's already been through enough. Yeah, but come on. Content. This is a pretty strange sword. I've never seen anything like it. Do you like it? It's a souvenir I got while I was traveling to the Eastern Kingdoms. Wait, you've been to the Eastern Kingdoms? I thought Wyverngard had a strict policy preventing people from crossing the border. Well, I didn't exactly enter legally. I hope the guards aren't listening to this. Nice smug sprite though, by the way. I quickly glance at the guard of the cell. He doesn't seem to be listening. Good. Please don't make a habit of telling people that. You're in enough trouble as it is. Yeah. Ah, there's the pouty face. Crime scene picture. Hey, let's show this to you. I probably shouldn't show this to her, but it's funny. Compendium. Mage Blade. It's a spell that magically sharpens my sword so I can cut through plate armor. When would you even need to use a spell like that? Well, it's not just for plate armor. I can cut through all kinds of things with it. Trees, boulders, ballista, fortified gates. It cuts through most of those things like butter. God, it is a D-sword. I start to wonder what kind of life she led before this case. I literally get paid to murder people, just not this murder. Can you tell me more about this? Nope. How about the lotus juice? I want to know more about lotus juice. I probably shouldn't show it to her. Oh, come on. It's just a drink. I didn't expect to find artificery in a village like yours. Yeah, I bought it for my family to make their lives easier. But I think I just made things more complicated. Yeah, without an arcane power cell, those lights aren't very useful. Let's ask about your job. Can you tell me more about this? No, even though it's my job. How about your key? Tell me more about it. It's a key. We'll use it. I can't imagine you know who this guy is. Let's find out. Okay. I just wondered because he knows transmutation. Like, this is obvious. Can I ask about this? Tell me more about this. Mage Blade. Oh, it's just the same. Well, that makes sense. Talk. You're done. All right. Oh, I don't even have to go use the key. We're just in. In like Flynn. Nice bedroom, though. Why do you have a dining room table in your bedroom? I used the key to enter Celeste's room. However, I'm startled when I notice that someone else is already inside. Is it, Oh! I was gonna say it was the prosecutor. I thought it was gonna be Steelwind. Who the hell are you? And what are you doing tonight? I already told you knights everything that I know. What more do you... Oh, aren't you Celeste's attorney? I am? Who are you? Oh, how rude of me. Oh, oh, okay. I'm surprised it took this long to be introduced to the mother. I'm Joel McCoy. I'm Celeste's mother, which means you're the widow. I'm surprised you're not more upset. Danganronpa. I was at the trial this morning. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for my daughter. So this is Celeste's mother. She might be able to tell me more about Flintheart. About that, do you mind if I ask you some questions for my investigation? Of course, I'll do anything I can to help. Why are you in here? And why didn't I see you earlier? Like, you do know your husband just died, right? How come I'm not seeing little sad emoticons on you? Can you tell me why your husband hated mages so much? I understand that most people dislike the nobility and associate magic with them, but on that night, it's like he was furious at Celeste specifically because she was a mage. Oh, you must have talked to Celeste. Yeah, I've been doing that. I'm a returnee. I wasn't there when their argument happened. I can only imagine what he said to her. You know what happened to him? Why does he hate magic so much? Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago Flintheart had a sister named Effie. When we were all children, we were friends with a boy named Garrick Pierce. Well, that's our fuckboy from earlier. He was the son of the ruling noble at the time. Garrick Pierce, isn't that the nobleman that was speaking with Steelwind earlier? Sure was. We were all inseparable at the time. He'd always sneak into town to play with us against his family's wishes. They probably weren't too happy about that. He was quite rebellious back then, but he's a completely different person now, yep. Also, there's another magic painting back there I want to look at. But everything changed when Garrick began learning how to use magic. One day when we were playing together, he wanted to show off the spells that he'd learned. He was told not to use his magic without his instructor there, but he was just too excited. He began casting his spells, but something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Effie. Oh, literally killed his sister. Well then. We tried bringing her back into town, but by that time it was too late. She was already gone. I'm sorry, that must have been traumatizing for all of you. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. House Pierce used their connections to cover it up. They even threatened Flintheart's family into keeping quiet. After that, the official story was that Effie had been mauled by a wolf. Well, that's not surprising. The nobles seldom take responsibility for their actions, even for their mistake like that. Flintheart's sister has been added to your notes. Well, that would do it. Something changed in Flintheart after that. He began speaking out against the nobility. Eventually, he started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more and more people began listening to his words and joining his cause. Well, that seems like a good way to inspire him to do that. The number of people that he'd gotten under his banner was terrifying. There was even talk of an outright revolution against the kingdom. That might explain why someone would go out of their way to kill him. I knew how much danger he was putting himself in, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until we adopted Celeste. Okay. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family? It all happened many years ago, back when the McCoy Tavern was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. Oh, really? Man, they are just setting up this whose child she is thing from the get-go, aren't they? We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her. And that baby was Celeste. Yes, Flintheart and I had always wanted a child. I thought the Celeste must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care, though. I loved her all the same. I'm sure Flintheart did, too. Wait, you knew that she was a mage all this time? I did. You haven't known her very long, but she's a terrible liar. Everyone's a terrible liar in front of me. Flintheart must have noticed, too, but I think that he didn't want to believe it. It's my fault. I should have forced him to see the truth. I wonder if those things coming up every now and then are things I can interact with at some point. They're just stuff. They're just flavor text at the moment. I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hated her because she was a mage. Well, yeah. There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loved her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her that night, nothing would ever change that. After seeing them together, you figured as much. Celeste was the world to him. When we adopted her, it was the first time in decades that I'd seen him so genuinely happy. They must have been really close. More than anything. You want to hear a story? Celeste had just returned from her travels when she illegally went to the Eastern Kingdoms. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. Oh, the Lotus. This will be the Lotus juice or whatever, right? I think it was called Lotus juice or something strange like that. Yeah, like Psymin Sezz. Well, Flintheart did everything he could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors with some of his revolutionary friends, but in the end he was only able to get a single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the only bottle of lotus juice in the region. Well, that's going to be a factor. Wait a minute, lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Flintheart had? You show her a picture of the shattered bottle that I found next to Flintheart's body. It is! Oh no, he was going to surprise her with it. I found the broken pieces next to Flintheart's, well, I found them in the dining area. That's strange. He'd been keeping it in our room so she wouldn't find it. Really? When was the last time you saw it? Right before I left the house that night. It was right before their big argument. So it wasn't just laying around in the bar. He decided to retrieve it after the argument. Okay, interesting. Shattered bottle of lotus juice has been updated in my notes. Alright, I think I've investigated everything I can for now. There's still one last thing I need to do. Present my badge. I ready myself for one last conversation with Celeste. So presenting this is probably all just going to be a waste of time. Testimony. Good enough. So, what I learned from this entire conversation is that you're single. It's a fancy-looking bed. Celeste had it custom made. Wouldn't something like this be really expensive? It was. I was really surprised that when she returned from her travels. Apparently, she was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary, which you were apparently aware of. Wow, you and Flintheart must have been happy for her. We are, but I still wish she'd get a less dangerous job. She seems okay. It's kind of like Maya. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm a spirit medium. I channel the dead. You know, whatevs. Meanwhile, Celeste is like, oh yeah, I hack up motherfuckers for a living. It's no big. It's a table with several chairs. Must be used for entertaining guests. Why in your bedroom, though? Doesn't look like it's seen much use. Also, why is this door locked if someone's just hanging out in it? I could have just knocked. It's a painting of a woman with some sort of aquatic animal. That looks like an axolotl. Oh, I love that painting. Celeste brought it back from her travels. It's just an anime girl with an axolotl. Supposedly, that woman is named Madeline Kipling. Is this a reference? Madeline Kipling. From what I've heard, she runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think the animal in this painting is called a fey kip. I'm pretty sure it's an axolotl. Celeste told me that she really likes them. That's interesting. I wasn't aware those kind of creatures even existed. Well, that's why they're endangered. I also like how she just flipped up there real quick before disappearing. The door leading to the upstairs hallway. Good for me. I'm done. Alright. Sayonara, mofos. Let's take a look and see if there's anything new to discover. Nope. Nobody here to chat with. Whoops. Why am I doing that? Seriously, though, your mom is hot, Celeste. And here's White and nothing else to do. Hey, White, have you met Celeste's mom? Because, damn. I don't think you'll have any comments about much of this. No, whatever. The game is just telling me to go talk to Celeste, so I'm guessing nothing's gonna matter. We're done. Let's just go. Oh, you're back. Did you forget something? Nope. There's one last thing I want to talk to you about. Oh? Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you. No, she didn't technically say that. She thought it, but alright. But after everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Your father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. I really desperately want that to reach her. If she keeps believing that he hated her, that thought will eat away at her for the rest of her life. Ah, we're doing therapy now. I know that better than anyone. Oh, do I? Is that where that Frey character is going to come in? He's lying just to make me feel better. I am not. But it looks like it won't be that simple. I'll need to win an argument against her if I want her to see the truth. Oh. Celeste's closure argument. There's nothing I can do to build a psychological case. Celeste believes her father died hating her, but after seeing them together and learning about them, I know that can't possibly be true. I just need to convince her of that. Start an argument with Celeste. It's so blunt. Would you like to argue with this person? Would you like to fight? Argument. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it, but everyone knows that my father hated mages. He's always hated mages. There's no reason behind it. No, there is. And I guess my only option is to present. Yeah. The mom said that she didn't know this, so I guess we say it. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic so much. What? When Flintheart was a child, he had a younger sister. She was tragically killed by a mage decades ago. That's why he had such an immense hatred for magic. Oh, I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. That's all the more reason for him to have hated me. It was selfish of me to learn magic. I knew how much he hated magic, but I still learned to use it anyway. Magic killed someone that he loved. No wonder he was furious. Aw, such a sad face. It was selfish of me to learn magic. Support her family as a mercenary. Well, I mean, you were supporting your family. I'm guessing that's our counter to say that it wasn't selfish. Sure, why not? But you didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? You learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down. You're a good person, Celeste. And you did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that. Just shut up. What? Shut up! Just stop it! Oh, are we gonna have to counter her emotions now? Whatever composure she had before is slowly breaking down. Oh no, Mood Matrix! Mood Matrix overload. You weren't there! You didn't hear what he said to me! In his final moments, he could only think of how I betrayed him. I could see it in his eyes. There was no way he could ever forgive me. Alright, well... Yeah, she didn't know that he pulled out the Lotus Juice. Maybe he pulled this out. I wouldn't have imagined he would get it for Pierce because he clearly hates him. He probably pulled this out as an apology for when she came back. Right? That's the reason why this bottle would be out. That makes sense. Take a look at this picture, Celeste. Look at this photograph. What? A shattered bottle? Wait, is that a bottle of Lotus Juice? Do you know where I found this? On the floor of your family's inn. What? That can't be true. I tried to find it here, but no one sells it in Wyverngard. Your father knew how much you loved this drink. He called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you. What? He did that? Your father didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything. That doesn't change anything. If he did that all for me, it was before he knew about my secret. Yeah, but he pulled the bottle out after you guys had your argument. I'm sure he never would have done that if he knew the truth. That's not true at all. What the hell would you know about him? You barely even knew him. How could you possibly know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe that he still loved me before he died? But I know the truth. There's no way he would ever forgive me for what I did. It's not just the fact that he bought the drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when it shattered. What do you mean? Your mother said that the bottle was stowed in her room before your argument. But I found the shattered bottle in the lobby where his body was. I ran into him before I went to look for you. He was going upstairs to his room. That could only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended. What? Why would he have it? It's because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. He was going to give it to you as a gift to apologize for what he said to you. He was going to apologize? Your father loved you, Celeste. And as tragic as it is, he was going to try to apologize to you before he was murdered. Yeah, that's right. I don't like this. My daughter working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad! You know I can handle myself. I don't doubt it, but you still shouldn't have to risk your neck for our sakes. They closed the inn, Dad. We won't be able to survive unless I do this. Just be careful, okay? I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. No matter what anyone says, you're our daughter, and we'll love you until the day we die. Aw. Dad, how could I ever think that... I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Dad. Celeste had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument, but her realization is finally causing her to break down. She begins crying loudly as she quickly embraces you. In this cold, dark place, she probably hadn't felt warmth of any kind for days. Yeah, but couldn't have this waited until after the trial? I'm caught off guard and feel a little embarrassed, but I comfort her while she vents her emotions. Well, technically, this will help make her our Maya. Argument 1. I mansplained it. Are you feeling better? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I've been thinking such horrible things this entire time. Yeah, stop that negative self-hypnosis. You quit that. She looks at me and gives me a warm smile. That's probably the first time I've seen her genuinely smile since this whole ordeal started. God, I'm way better at this than Athena is. Thank you. But is everything really going to be okay? I'll make sure of it. I'll get justice for you and your father. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're a man, king, or god. You're completely different now. What happened to the nervous wreck from before? Please forget about that. Anyway, take some time to rest. The trial is going to resume soon. With that, I've done everything I can for now. Streak's done. Nice. All 5 of your streaks are done. I've learned a lot about what happened the night of the murder. I just hope it's enough. I hope I'm still number 1 on the leaderboard for Duolingo. I keep forgetting that ends every time I'm doing Story Sunday. But even with my investigation, I still don't know what the prosecution has planned. Yeah, she's a devious one. Has Pierce told you all the details, Mr. Oh, Mr. Rudolph! Well, why are you conversing with him? Why are you grooming the witness? You have more than 5, lol. Has Pierce told you all the details, Mr. Rudolph? Will you remember them? Have you memorized your story? Yes, I pride myself on my I know how to say that word, but I forget how to say the word. Eidetic memory. Whatever. Good memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. Oh, we're organizing perjury with the prosecution, but the prosecution is not enjoying this idea. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. Why would you have even come up? Excuse me. It has to be the bastard child. We don't know what sort of tricks Ruby Tamora might pull tomorrow. Like the tricks you're pulling now, just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. Yeah, she's not cool with it. I'd love to save my progress. I'm still trying to guess which one of these girls is going to be my waifu by the end. But seriously though, that mom. Hello, Cuthbert. I keep forgetting about you. Oh, hi, Miss Tamora, even though we were just talking about you. This is a very Ace Attorney-ish song going on right now. You're a lot less jumpy than you were yesterday. I'm glad to see that you're finally getting used to things. So, what did you find in your investigation? Prepping witnesses is her job and not fabricating testimony. Exactly. You shouldn't have to practice your story. You tell Miss Tamora about everything you've learned over your investigation. There aren't a lot of clues that point to what actually happened. Yeah, I know a lot of details about the crime scene, but nothing about the crime itself. This means I'll have to rely solely on pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony. Well, what else is new? Being reactive to the prosecution's moves is a valid strategy. Honestly, I think it was a miracle that you got the commander to cooperate with you at all. Right, I almost forgot. Commander White appears to really have it out for Miss Tamora. Actually, I wanted to ask about that. Did something happen between you and Commander White? Mr. McCoy, please proceed to the courtroom with your counsel. Let's go, Tyrion! Trial's about to start. You should go. The judge is waiting. Right. Another secret is left buried between us. So is she my mommy or not? Oh, the judge just winds up, man. He lives for that. He's gonna break that desk in half before the end of this game. Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. It's so unnecessary, too. It's so extra. Yesterday, the defense presented some shocking oversights made during the investigation. Yes, I personally saw to it that the investigation was conducted properly this time. I see. What? I'm getting raided by Drift into Madness. It's cool, your girlfriend loves it. I never even heard of this game until like a week ago. I just saw it in the sale or something, and I was like, what the hell is that? But it came highly recommended, so I'm going in blind, and yeah, we're just in the first trial. I suppose that puts my mind at ease. Like, look at this guy. He's even got the judge pose. He's just looking at the sky. He doesn't give a damn. Also, they have cool futuristic tablets with notes that are magic. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense tried to push the following narrative. This is our Miles Edgeworth, by the way. But yeah, if you're familiar with Ace Attorney, this is literally Ace Attorney, but with wizards. That a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. We literally have, she's a wizard, arcane art evocation. You can just see it right there. And she has a cane. However, the prosecution has discovered another explanation. Because of that, the individual who discovered the body would like to testify as to what he saw that night. Well, this is trouble, because you are a liar, we know it. His eyewitness account will clear up what actually happened. Interesting. It was my understanding the individual in question wanted to remain anonymous. Supposedly, this witness was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. So that's her plan. Look, we even lean in like Phoenix. And we've got a Maya, too. But why would the witness change his mind like that? Because he's a lying sack of crap. Did Steelwind persuade him, or did something else happen here? Very well. Let's hear from this witness. I don't know what it is about this guy, but for some reason I just like his character art better than everyone else's. It's just so sharp. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the— Why are you asking for this? This is Edgeworth's job. My name is Reese. I believe that's Reese. Reese Reginald Rudolph. Reese Rudolph. I'm a chauffeur of the equine variety, so he drives a horse carriage. And he has a Danganronpa intro screen. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm unfamiliar with that profession. He means to say that he's a carriage driver, exactly, like Psy'Min Sezz. Oh, I see. I'm dumb like the other judge, please use small words. But in any case, it's my understanding that you found the body. Am I correct, Mr. Rudolph? Well, he is. Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. Why are you doing that? Also, why is our magic eye not telling us all the lying you're doing internally? He writes with incredible speed. His pen only touches the paper for maybe a second before he's filling an entire page. Yeah, is this your I'm thinking animation, Mr. Rudolph? Ah, forgive me. I was merely taking notes on the people in the room. Why are you doing that? Taking notes? That's my job. The witness has a certain compulsion to keep a record of every event that he witnesses. Wow, and you thought you were good at diary keeping. I see. Then I assume we will receive an accurate testimony of how you found the body? Hell no! Have you played any of these games? Actually, I witnessed much more than that. I saw the crime as it was being committed. Oh, well, you're going to go that far, are you? And I wrote down everything that I saw. I just stood there writing notes in the doorway, hoping I wouldn't get stabbed. What? That's quite the claim. And I agree. If that's true, why did you choose to remain silent until now? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. Therefore, we saw no need at the time of his testimony. However, those circumstances clearly changed during yesterday's trial. Why didn't we just call him from the gallery then and there? Come on. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. Yeah, don't give me that. Something else is happening here. I swear it on my Byakuya haircut. Very well. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. Again, if you've played Ace Attorney, this should seem incredibly familiar. Alright. No arcane arts for you. 34. Alright. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:28 a.m. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. Well, you're a lying sack of crap. She had stabbed Flintheart McCoy and was channeling magic into her sword. In other words, everything that was said during the previous day, all the things you were arguing about, no. I saw it and it was all correct and you can trust me because the lights were totally working. She removed her sword from Flintheart's chest, and as he slowly turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. She soon realized that I had witnessed her heinous crime. She let the body fall to the ground and fled the scene. Through the door that you were standing in? Hello? Incredible! That's the most bald-faced lie I've ever heard, and I've been doing this for 30 years. If everything occurs the witness described, I see no room for debate. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. I don't remember seeing him when I went to look for Celeste. Yeah, no kidding. Do I get to call myself as a witness? Because I know that's bullcrap. But it was pretty dark. Oh, come on. Celeste, did you see this man that night? No, this is my first time meeting him. I didn't see him when I ran out of the tavern that night. So he has to be lying. Does that mean he's the one who killed my dad? Angry face. We also have the ability to see people's thoughts and their inner emoticons. She tries her best to hide it, but I can see her restlessness. Well, it's hard to say right now, but it's definitely a possibility. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. Is the prosecution going to say unnecessary? Nope. All right. All right, 6 things. Let's press them all. Transporting a client in the carriage that evening. Who was the passenger in your carriage? It was Shithead. Well, you're not going to let us know about Shithead yet, are you? The identity of the passenger is irrelevant. This witness is the one who actually observed the crime as it occurred. Desk slam! If there was another person at the scene, they may also have crucial testimony. The passenger is under no obligation to testify before the court. The current witness's account of the events is more than adequate. Oh, just like yesterday's evidence was more than adequate? I agree. Shut up, Judge. I see no reason for Mr. Rudolph to disclose the identity of their client. The defense must present a more valid reason to do so. Oh, I will. You just wait. You watch me. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:28 a.m. I'm assuming this disturbance was the argument between my client and her father. Yes, I heard 2 voices, one young female and one gruff male. Presumably, these were the voices of Celeste and Flintheart McCoy. Right, that matches up with what their neighbors heard too. What did you do after hearing this disturbance, Mr. Rudolph? Do I get to say what I saw? Can't I just come out and be like, I came downstairs after Celeste left, dude was still alive, this asshole was nowhere to be seen. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. You stopped your carriage in the middle of a job? That seems pretty abnormal for a carriage driver. What did your passenger think of this? He had no quarrel with it. What kind of passenger would be okay with stopping mid-drive? The passenger's thoughts on the matter are irrelevant to his testimony. Unless you have any hard evidence to prove otherwise. You saying that makes me think I do, but we'll save it. Now then, please tell us what you saw in the establishment, Mr. Rudolph. There I saw the defendant. Oh, his eyes just go wide from shock when we get to this point. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. Why would you offer that detail? Just say she stabbed her dad. She stabbed Flintheart McCoy was channeling magic into her sword. You sound certain that you saw my client and the victim. How are you so sure it was them? Flintheart McCoy and his daughter were well known within the town. Flintheart made himself quite known in the region through his social activism. And young Celeste dresses in a manner that is far wealthier than the townsfolk of Cornhaven. Do you live in the same town as the McCoys? How would you know about this? I don't live there, but my work brings me there quite frequently. The witness's place of residence has no bearing on his testimony. Shut up, Von Karma. What matters is that he was there when the murder occurred. Why is Steelwind deflecting questions about his personal life? Why are you asking about his personal life? What relevance does this have? Is it going to be relevant? Maybe it's because he's the private carriage driver of the actual stabby boy. She removed her sword from Flintheart's chest, and as he slowly turned himself to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. I feel like I could contradict that too, but I'm definitely going to contradict the lights. So you're saying that my defendant stabbed him twice with her sword? Yeah, that seems contrary. Is this my stuff? Yeah, autopsy. Died after being stabbed from behind. Okay, so it doesn't say stabbed once. Fair enough. Because that's a thing, that's a trope. You're saying that my defendant stabbed him twice with her sword? Yes, that's exactly what I saw. But there's only one visible wound on the body. Well, also that. If what you say is true, then that means that she stabbed him through the same wound. Isn't that extremely improbable? Improbable, but not impossible. It is strange, I'll give you that. But nevertheless, that's what the witness saw happen. Yeah, also there's not two wounds. That's true. I didn't even think of that. She's really reaching with this. You won't get anywhere unless, or I won't get anywhere unless I can prove that he's lying. Those comments on Aria's comments seem like they're, you know, consecutive, like they're building on the previous comments. That's interesting. I wonder if I press things out of order, they would still come up with my later presses as well. What's she gonna say when I do this? She soon realized I witnessed her heinous crime. She let the body fall to the ground and fled the scene. And you let her get away? I'm just a simple carriage driver. I have no way of combating an armed assailant. The witness also saw the defendant using magic. You honestly expect a chauffeur to subdue an armed mercenary? I suppose she has a point. He must have come up with a detailed story beforehand and wrote it down. His little quirk of writing down everything is the perfect cover for him to read over his notes. Well, he'll be updating his notes in a second. I guess it wouldn't be hard to catch him lying if he had a way to keep his story straight. Actually, it's just the opposite. With all those details, it'll be that much easier to find an inconsistency. Yeah, why did you write down the blue lights? That's gonna bite you in a minute. I just need to figure out which detail is incorrect. Well, we know. Lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. You mean the ones that are broken? And have been broken for weeks? How about this? Objection! What do you know about this, asshole? Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. That's a hydrate. I could use a hydrate. I'm also glad that the stupid alert isn't coming up when points get redeemed now. I had to go in and fix that. That was so stupid when that was happening yesterday. I testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. And I supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so. Yeah? I could never forget such a grisly sight. This game is going on for longer than I thought. Wow, 3 hours. I surmised from the reviews that this would go a lot quicker. I thought this would be a shorter game, but I guess not. This is case 1. I can never forget such a grisly sight. The moment was burned into my memory. Well, it's funny that you say that. How so? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie! And now we're back at the flash forward we saw at the beginning, I guess. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? You're damn right. Surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. Yeah, like this is literally the scene from the beginning. My accusation is far from baseless, Prosecutor Steelwind. Take a look at this report. The dining room lights are artificery devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. Getting water dumped on my head is plenty of notification. Yeah, I actually need to update that and do a few other things, but I'm gonna maybe get that done this week. We'll see. The dining room lights had no energy, and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Wait, I can explain! You better. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. Perhaps one of the McCoys lit a candle because of the blackout. The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A candle or lantern wouldn't emit a color like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact times that each event occurred. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? Also, it's interesting that the layout for the courtroom is a little bit different than Ace Attorney. The witness is in front of the judge facing away from them, rather than on the other side of the room facing the judge. It's like the one difference. No, what the witness saw was clearly some form of magic. And due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artificery. It must have been an arcane spell. Yeah, how about that? That's it! You're gonna blame it on her magic? Nah, her magic is a different color, isn't it? Is it this? Yeah, spells. Unnaturally sharp, slashing, emits a yellow radiant glow, so not blue. Maybe, the actual murderer's transmutation spells are blue. I must have made an incorrect assumption. Please allow me to revise my testimony. Like every witness ever. Yeah, the judge is like, wait. I don't put up with a shit like the other judge. What do you think of this, Prosecutor Steelman? Well, she'll go along with it. If the witness wants to revise his testimony, I see no harm in obliging him. I'll bet you don't. And you, Mr. Cuthbert? This is some horse crap. If he thinks he saw something different, then it's only fair to hear him out. I'll tear through each one of his lies, no matter what he does. Are you gonna update? Oh no, it's a whole new testimony. All right. I remember now, yeah. Wait, is this the Allegro version? We got new music? I remember now. Yesterday it was revealed that Flintheart was killed using magic. I must have seen Flintheart's daughter channeling a magic spell. The spell was called Mage Blade, am I correct? That's it. The blue glow that I saw must have been created by Mage Blade. Nope. I see. No, you don't. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Easiest objection I've ever made. Like, come on, Area, you know. I remember now. Well, I'm going to press all this for content anyway. Are you changing your testimony based on yesterday's trial? No, I assure you, that's not what I'm doing. But after thinking about it further, I think I finally understand what I saw. Yeah, we didn't have the compendium during yesterday's trial, so you might not be aware of this detail. I must have seen Flintheart's daughter channeling a magic spell. Wouldn't that be pretty noticeable and distinct? The witness is of the common folk. Furthermore, the defendant's magical ability wasn't known to many until the night of the murder. What reason would the witness have to think that he was witnessing magic? He would just think that the sword was wreathed in a glow by some other means. That last part is a bit far-fetched, but I can't really refute it right now. Oh, yes, I can. The spell was called Mage Blade, am I correct? You seem uncertain about the spell that you saw my client use. How can we trust the rest of your testimony? The witness has no knowledge of the arcane arts, I'll grant you that. But it doesn't matter if he was unable to identify the specific spell. Also, that's the reason he wouldn't be able to identify the specific spell. The only thing that matters is that he saw it happen. I'm not going to get anywhere unless I can prove he didn't see Mage Blade. I know how to do it, I'm just getting content. The blue glow that I saw must have been created, blah, blah, blah. Man, it doesn't feel like it's been 3 hours. You still don't sound so sure of yourself. I wasn't sure of it at first, but then I remembered that Flintheart was killed using magic. Is it really so hard to believe I didn't realize magic was used when I saw the scene? I suppose not. Not that I believe him. He just keeps telling lie after lie. I know, Maya, I know. Settle down. Celeste is trying to keep her composure, but I notice her firmly clenching her fists. He's trying to cover for his mistakes. I'm sure he's just making things up on the spot now. He doesn't know how magic works. I bet he barely understands what Mage Blade even does. Right, there has to be a flaw with his testimony because of that. This guy has not been on the wiki. Alright. Blue glow I saw must have been created by Mage Blade, except not! Objection! Kiss my dick. Mr. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized this Celeste Mage Blade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't know about Mage Blade, but that's exactly where your mistake is. My mistake? Oh, here's the pursuit theme. Mr. Rudolph, if you were aware of how Mage Blade works, you would know that the spell emits a yellow radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't possibly have been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. I'll grant you that the witness clearly remembers seeing a blue glow. But what significance could such a minor detail have? Well, first of all, he's lying. Second of all, blue glow is probably associated with Other Boy's spell. It's extremely significant, Prosecutor Steelwind. If the witness did see a blue magical glow, then he must have witnessed another spell at the scene. Preposterous. You don't have any evidence to back up that claim. My evidence is the blue glow, you idiot. That blue light made a large impression on the... Yeah, exactly. He wrote it down in his book, and he specifically mentioned the color. There's no way he would be mistaken about something like that. Yeah, that's the proof. That's the proof right there. Hey, dipshit, how you feel about that? So what did you really see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene casting a spell she couldn't have possibly cast? Or did you see another mage at the scene? Well... Your Honor, the defense has no right to accuse the witness like this. Judge, come on, be on my side. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Mr. Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, you will be prosecuted. No, I'm not. I work for the nobility. Screw you. No, wait, please. Oh, there's fuckboy. Now that is quite enough of that. Garrick Pierce suddenly steps down from the gallery and walks to the witness stand. Well, you're gonna regret that.